Okay. A little bit higher. Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to another E5 Temple service. We are starting just a little bit later today than normal, and we are live in person. So if you happen to join in the chat, please ask questions, and we'll try to get to those towards the end. We did have a little class on the morning prayers this morning before we started our temple service. So I would please offer that if you're in town and you want to come and commune together Bob, and learn together and grow together as a community, please consider joining us on Sundays. Our goal is to meet at 11 a.m. and to continue to grow our temple services so that we can involve as many folks as possible. So please consider joining us. Today's EFA topic is health is our true wealth. Health is our true wealth. Something I know personally that I go through and think about oftentimes is that while I know I should be healthy, I don't always want to be healthy, right? There are, for some reason, it just feels like so many things that are made for us today, they create challenges, right? Even the foods that they make, the ingredients that they put inside of them, they create this dependency. You start to eat them. The sugary foods, right? Everybody loves the life of the couch potato. Why could you imagine the big? I feel like I'm allergic to a couch. Is it right? I'm allergic to the couch, but it's so great that when I lay on it, that my life just everything disappears. I don't think about anything. That's typically how my summer starts as a teacher. I don't want to think about anything. I want to give my mind a break because the year has been difficult. It's always been challenging. But Ifa doesn't want that for me. One, he doesn't want me to, get to the place where I'm overworked. He doesn't want me to be in a place where I'm overfed. He doesn't want me to be in a place where I do so much that I stop to think about myself. I stop thinking about myself. Right? That is not the goal of being an Ifa practitioner. Right? Okay, so let's talk about some things and get ourselves thinking about how this our true wealth. I do have three questions I want you all to think about as we go through today's temple service. So the first one is, what areas of my life have I been neglecting in the name of being strong for others? Am I pouring out more than I am being filled? Have I ignored my body or spirit's signals, thinking it'll just pass? It'll just pass, right? When Ifa's calling me to pause and heal. That's the second question. I read that kind of strange. So let me read it one more time. Have I ignored my body or spirit signals, thinking it'll just pass, when Ifa may be calling me to pause and heal? Think about that for a moment. And three, what would it look like for me to treat my health, physical, mental, and spiritual, as my most valuable asset? What would that look like for me? Right? So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to get into some verses of Ifa, which will help understand, what it looked like back then. So we're going to the Odu of Ofe Iwori. Ofe Iwori. Please repeat after me. While greeting Eku, the rat continued to look forward. They asked him, Rat, what has occurred that you are continuously looking forward? The rat answered, failure to look forward was what led to the death of my father. While greeting at Ja, the fish continued to look backward. They asked him, Fish, what has occurred
Fish, what has occurred?
That you are continuously glancing backward.
That you are continuously glancing backwards.
The fish answered,
The fish answered,
failure to glance backwards
failure to glance backwards.
was what led to the death of my father.
What next led to that?
I looked forward,
I looked forward.
and I even glanced backwards.
And I glanced backwards.
I could not see anything
I could not see anything
as beneficial as he thought.
as beneficial as he thought.
When going, these were God's declarations
These were God's declarations
to Orumila.
to Lord.
When going to solve the problem
Going to solve the problem.
of the backache in the home of Olokun Seniate.
Back in the home of a local
Seniate.
Seniate.
He was advised to offer a vote.
He was advised to offer a vote.
So here we have the story of Olokun Seniate. Olokun Seniate is a woman who's responsible for all of the wealth at the bottom of the ocean, which is essentially all the wealth of the world, right? Extremely powerful and wealthy woman. And so what was important about her is that while she had everything that you could ever imagine, at this particular time in her life, she was going through some challenges and dealing with something as simple as a backache at this particular time. The challenge is that backache kept continuing to get worse for her. She found herself in a place where she was now bedridden and couldn't move. It just kept developing. She wasn't really getting any assistance with it. And so she decides, because this is too bad. I can't even get out of bed. I can't move. What am I going to do? So she calls the best and greatest owl that she could find. And the first owl that she had called, his name was He Who Can Recite 20 Verses of Ifa. So he comes, he says, here's the medicine that you need. He gives her the medicine. Some time goes by and she still hasn't gotten better. Okay. So then they call another owl. His name is He Who Can Recite 30 Verses of Ifa. So he comes and same thing, he looks at her and he says, I know the medicine that you need. He prepares the medicine, he gives it to her. Some time goes by, she does not heal. She's still suffering. And the final owl that was called, prior to Orumila in this case, his name was He Who Can Recite 50 Verses of Ifa per Otu. Now, I'm mentioning these numbers because you have to understand that these were extremely knowledgeable priests. Right? Our expectation as owls, as we're getting started, is to have 4 to 8 verses per Otu, right? And we're talking about priests who can recite 50 verses of Ifa. That's exceptional, all right? So he comes and he says, I have the medicine for you. The medicine does not work. So some time goes by, she says, okay, I don't know what to do. Let us call Orumila. So Orumila receives the call to travel to Olokun's home in order to help her heal. But before he decides to go, he goes to his students and he has Ifa cast for himself. He says, will my mission be successful? Will I be able to heal Olokun Seniate? She's already had some very proficient priests try to assist her. Will I be able to support her the way that I need to? The almost cast Ifa for Orumila, and Obe comes out. And they say that, yes, Father, you will be very successful in healing. You need to offer a bow. You need to be there and assist her with proper medicines and do everything that you know that you can do in order to support her. So he offers her the bow, which is very symbol of wealth and success. So he offers his bow, and then he makes his way to the home of a local. So when he arrives, his process is a little bit different than everybody else who came before. What does he do? He first gives her the messages. He says, well, I want you to know that all of the priests that came here, they gave you the right medicine. They did everything that they needed to do in order to support you. except they did not offer a vote. Right? They did not seek spiritual support in order to help you fix the challenge that you're going through. Everybody's looking at themselves like, okay, you're right. We didn't do that. So Arugula gives the herbal materials. He offers the advice. He prepares the medicine, and he gives the medicine to Olukunsenyade, and he's there by her side to help her. Within 3 days, she's able to sit up. Within another week, she's able to stand up. And within time, she was back to her old self. In the end, Olukunsenyade, as I explained at the very beginning, is a very, very wealthy woman, and she gave Orunmila a tremendous amount of wealth for the support that he had brought to her and for being by her side for so long. So this story is a very, very powerful one. And let us finish our verses. We're going to recite the verse again from beginning to end. Please repeat after me. While greeting Aku, the rat continued to look forward. They asked him, Rat, what has occurred that you are continuously looking forward? The rat answered, failure to look forward was what led to the death of my father. While greeting Ajah, the fish continued to look backward. They asked him, Fish, what has occurred that you are continuously glancing backward? The fish answered, failure to glance backward was what led to the death of my father. I looked forward, and I even glanced backward. I could not see anything as beneficial as the Father. These were Ifa's messages for Arugula. We're going to solve the problem of the backache in the home of Olukunsenyade. He was advised to offer a vote. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of joy. Come and behold all eternal life. Now, it was the backache ailment that Edu had resolved. It was the backache ailment that Edu had resolved. I have adorned my wrist with Ide, Ifa beads. I have also adorned my neck with Ide. It was the backache ailment that Edu had resolved. So this is a very powerful message from Ifa, right? The support of Olukunsenyade, wealthiest woman in the world, right? Orunmila had a job that he was called to do. As in all cases, he prepared himself by going to seek the information from Ifa, the esoteric voice of Olodumare. Right? His awus had supported him by letting him know that he was going to be successful, and he was. Right? Now, how does this story translate to our life today? Right? One, we have to understand that as Ifa devotees, that many of the challenges that we face physically start spiritually. Right? If we can grasp that concept, then we're going to be supporting ourselves much better with Ifa. Right?
Because if you really believe that, you're gonna go to Ifa.
I say.
You're gonna try to get a dafa, you're gonna try to get a reading, you're just gonna try to settle it yourself. If you really believe.
I said, right? And so as practitioners out there who are listening, and for those of us here in the temple service, that's something that we need to understand. And sometimes we need to start with Ifa. And it may be as simple as as having that thought, right? Getting the thought down and getting the information, and then continuing on with the system of healing that is necessary. If I says that you need a medicine, right? A lot of times, I'll be honest with you, something I've seen in the past is that we have so much belief that only our medical system is worth believing in that we won't really accept the medicine that IFA is giving us. We'll do the IFA, we'll do the IFA, we'll offer the abode, but if IFA says, you need to drink this particular soup. Sometimes I see people, it's okay, I'm gonna go and just take what I need to take. And so they're only half healing themselves. That's a challenge we bring about on ourselves. Sometimes we need to have faith, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we need to have faith. Sometimes we need to trust in the knowledge of the Awos who are there supporting us. And that's it. We hope that they have good teachers. We hope that there's good information that's going out. And it's hard to find good Awos. It really is.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling everybody that they need to trust every person who casts for them. But it's important that you understand that the person who's giving the information is trained, right? So it's something to think about. That's something we got to think about. So in the end, we need to think. We can have doctors, we can have diets, we can have yoga apps, we can have our therapy journals. All of those things are good in our lives. They help us to find healing and focus on taking care of ourselves. But sometimes our breakthrough won't come to us without our prayer. Sometimes our breakthrough won't come to us without the MOU. Sometimes the things that we need in our life begin with our prayer. That's why we're devotees. Some of our healings will need herbs. Some of our healings will need special materials, right? And as anybody who has been a practitioner will know, sometimes we hear these materials and we're like, wait, what? And then it's offered and we're like, okay, thank you, right? Don't overlook your symptoms because something big always starts with something small. And we keep that in mind, right?
You're right. Say it again.
So don't overlook your symptoms because something big always starts with something small.
Yes.
Right? Very, very important. So let's go on to our next verse. This also comes from the Odu of Ogbe Iwori. Ogbe Iwori. Please repeat after me. He who is preoccupied with analyzing other people's problems,
Other people's problems.
but uses a big potsherd
But uses a big posture
to cover his own inadequacies.
to cover his own inadequacies.
This was Ifa's message for Rumila.
Which is God's message for me.
When going on Ifa's mission
When going on God's mission
to the home of Onihan,
to the whole world,
he was advised to offer a vote.
The guys for it.
Here we have the story of Onihan. He was an extremely benevolent man. Showed kindness all around the community. He did for others. He worked hard for himself to a certain extent, but everything he had, he made sure everybody else was taken care of. The community knew that they could count on him. They knew that when they had troubles, whether it be money troubles, health troubles, whatever it be, he was going to help them solve that issue, right? So he became a pillar of the community simply by showing his kindness in every way that he could. Now, in Onihan's situation, he found himself with another small problem like Olokun Seniade. But his problem started within his leg. Started one day, simple leg pain, just kind of ignored it, brushed it off, didn't think anything about it, continued doing for others constantly, still not looking out for himself. His pain got so bad that he found himself one day not able to get out of bed. He stepped on the legs and it got worse and worse. It got so bad to where now his family and his children were taking care of him. They were taking care of him in his bath. They were helping him brush his teeth. They were helping feed him, preparing his meals. He was essentially someone who had become bedridden. This was an extreme challenge for him. Now, the issue is, Onihana was in a particular place where, excuse me, where while he had supported many people in the community, he didn't have that same support coming back. Right? It was just him and his kids and his family. So he was in a very, very strange mood, I guess you can say, sort of thinking about life in that sense. It didn't stop him from wanting to do kindness. It kind of put him in a place still where he kept thinking to himself, you know, I hate that I'm stuck here and people out there need me. Like that's how his brain works. He's just like, I'm so mad I'm stuck here, but I still need to do for those that are outside. Well, his family decides to call a to come and support him, to offer a boat, to do a dafa, see what they can do to support him. And he comes, or actually, he goes to have Ifa cast for himself before he goes to help solve the issue of Onihana. And the Awos told him, they cast Ifa, they told him, it says, you're going to be able to solve the problem, you're going to be able to help Onihana get healthy. But you need to have this important conversation with him. You need to tell him that he needs to focus on himself. He needs to think about his own health and his own well-being. The reason that it's gotten to this point is because simply he ignored the situation from the beginning. He took no focus on how he was feeling. He just kept going and kept going and kept pushing himself, trying to provide for others instead of providing for himself. Because he simply thinks that if he thinks about himself, he feels like he's being selfish. You need to talk to him and let him know that he's not being selfish. Because if he is not healthy, all those people who need him will suffer even more. Right? Since I share here the advice, he offers his vote. He goes to see Onihana, and he starts to relay the message. He says, okay, we're here to do this divination, but you need to understand that if you do not follow the advice, then I'm here for nothing. If you do not consider yourself, you will not heal. If you do not focus on your own personal self-care, everyone else around you will suffer. Onihana heard the advice. They offered the Ebo. Onihana prepared the medicine, gave the medicine to him, and with time, he started to heal, he started to get stronger, he rested himself, he allowed himself to get better, and he was back to himself in no time. He was back out in the community, giving back like he always did. But the change was now, he was taking time for himself. That's the new change that he's applying to himself moving forward. So let's finish this first. Please repeat after me. He who is preoccupied with analyzing other people's problems, but uses a big potsherd to cover his own inadequacies. This was Ifa's message to Orunmila. When going on Ifa's mission to the home of Onihana. He was advised to offer a book. He complied. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of all he ran. This is what Ifa guarantees for all of its followers. All right. So, a very powerful story. We have someone who is so gracious and so kind, they do for themselves. Right? How many of you have had the experience of being the strong friend? Right? Got a couple hands up here. So someone who will, no matter how you're feeling, you're there for somebody else before you're there for yourself. Right? How many of you have been the mama for others, the counselor, the nurse, the mediator, the one who does not pause to take a moment, right? You could be feeling some type of way, you're sitting at home, and somebody calls you and you're like, you know what? I'm not feeling that great, but I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna do what I can to help them out because they're in a different place. They're in a difficult place and they need me in their life. Right? We're gonna go through that. We're gonna go through that. And the challenge is we're gonna feel a certain way in the moment that we have to say, I'm sorry, but I'm not in the best place right now myself and I need a moment. Please, I want you to understand, I'm not abandoning you. I'm not trying to leave you hanging. Maybe you can reach out to so-and-so, or maybe somebody, it'll feel like you're being selfish, but I promise you you're not. That's the difficult thing we have to think about. That's what this story is trying to portray to us. We cannot forget about ourselves in order to take care of others. Now, you've all been on an airplane before, I hope? Yes, no? No, it's okay, my kids haven't either yet. You haven't been on an airplane yet? Okay. Well, as parents, right? As parents know, what do they say on the airplane about the oxygen mask?
Yeah.
Put it on yourself before you put it on someone else.
Yeah. Your oxygen mask, it's even in our system. Put your mask on yourself before you help those next to you. We're not being selfish because if I'm not there, then my child no longer has me for their support. Right? That's the thing we have to work towards. And God's telling us that. Right?
Yeah, yeah, you remember that show King of Queens?
Oh, sure.
You remember Doug? Because they're on a plane and the oxygen mask came off, but he just did it. Grabbed his wife's.
Yes, yes.
She started freaking out. She's like, I don't know what happened next to me.
That's funny. So, but thinking about that though, that same kind of thing is what we have to think about in our daily lives. Right? There are times we have to take care of ourselves. There are times we have to rest. There are times we have to take a pause. My wife gets on me, sometimes even my kids have asked me at nighttime, because I'll pick up my phone and I'll be messaging. My dog, who are you messaging? Right? Who are you talking to at bedtime? Sometimes at nighttime we hang out together and sort of scroll through social media together. Just it's our time right before they go to bed. And I'll still answer my phone and start messaging, responding. Before you know it, an hour later, I've had a full-on conversation with somebody else somewhere else. Because sometimes I feel it too. I don't want them to think that I'm not there to help them. I'm not there to answer their questions. I'm not there to support them. I don't want that for the other folks. But I also have family. I also have myself to look out for, right? My own internal health challenges. And elders have said to me, right? We have to take care of ourselves. Otherwise, if we're not here for our community, what value are we? Right? So that changes the way that I think about things. At least that, puts things in perspective. And so I want all of us watching, right, all of us here to think about that. What are we doing to take care of ourselves? We go again to the same concept from the previous story. Oneaha and Olokoteniade dealt with small health issues that became big ones. Right? And even in my own life, I have health issues that if I don't pay attention to them, they're going to become big. Right? I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for my family. I don't want to be a burden. Right? So those are the things that we have to think about and things we have to consider. Let's go on to our final Odu of the sermon today. And this comes from the Odu of Owanri Obara. Owanri Obara. Please repeat after me. Owanri, the owl of the riverbed. Obara, the owl of the streambed. Both Owanri, the owl of the riverbed, and Obara, the owl of the streambed, they cast the va for Olukan. The offspring of that, which is more delicious. and sweeter than honey. He was advised to offer a vote.
He was advised to offer a vote.
He complied.
He complied.
There is nothing that is more delicious
There was nothing that is more delicious
than for us to wake up with sound health, vitality is the panacea for prosperity. There's nothing that is more delicious than for one to be blessed with vitality. Vitality is the panacea for prosperity. Actually. So, in this particular ode, Ifan's telling us that there's nothing more important than life than your health and vitality. Absolutely nothing more. You can't enjoy your new car. You can't enjoy the money you have to spend on the trip. You can't enjoy your new home. You can't enjoy your family. You can't enjoy, right? Without health and vitality, everything leaves us. We're stuck. That's not what Ifan wants for us, right? And so Ifan's putting us in a place where we need to understand what we have to do for ourselves. We are practitioners of Ifan. Ifan says that our vitality is the most important. That means for us to go to bed on time, to get the hours of sleep that we need to get, right? When we wake up, we should probably, at some point in our day, include some sort of exercise, right? So we're taking care of ourselves. This is what keeps us strong and keeps us going. Because we know if we live a life without muscles, how can we stand up, right? How can we pick up the things we need to do? How can we move through life? Those need work. After we wake up, we figure out what we're going to do our exercise, then we're taking care of how we, take in our nutrition. Because we're out of time, are we going to stop and grab a burger? Or will we plan and prepare a good meal that maybe we can carry with us, or at least some place that we can stop that's a better choice? Trust me, I'm a big guy. I know about the burgers. It's sometimes easier and it's less to think about. But now I'm fighting for those moments. I'm even checking my apps if I'm moving and I for some reason have forgotten to eat or not thought about it appropriately. I'm trying to find a good option. And that's something that we should be focusing on. How can we fuel our bodies so that we're here? So that we're here for those who need us, we're here for ourselves. All right? Health is our wealth. Now, even though we may not live the life of a local Senyate, even though we may not have the resources of Oni Hanhan to show kindness to everyone, right? We're reminded through Olorin Obara that Ifa's telling us that all of our goodness comes through taking care of ourselves and looking forward to living a strong and healthy life. So I ask all of you that are listening and those of you that are here these questions. Are you living like health is your priority? Right? Are you thinking about that? Are you treating your body as a temple or a trash can? Right? Are you listening to Ifan's whispers when your body cries out? Right? What are we doing? Because wealth, as they say, wealth is not just in your wallet. It's in your walk, it's in your breath, it's in everything that you do. So we have to keep that at the forefront of our mind as devotees. I want us all to start to think about committing to wholeness, our whole self, who we are, right? We're thinking about our spirituality, we're thinking about our health, we're thinking about our families, the physical world that we're in, the things that we're trying to accomplish. We're thinking about the whole self. So let's not exclude health out of that. And that seems to be the easiest one to push to the side. Let us offer a glow when it's time. All right? Let's get the messages from Ifa so that we can have the support that we need to have. right? Whether it's a dogun or whether we're just taking care of our family at homes. Those of you who are out lows, you're doing for your family at home. This is when we can share those messages. So, as I've been trying to do at the end of every service, please repeat after me. This is going to be our mantra for this week, something to think about. Please repeat after me by saying, my health is my wealth.
My health is my wealth.
I will protect it.
I will protect it.
I will honor it.
I will honor it.
I will heal
I will heal.
in alignment with the divine.
In alignment with the divine.
Let us sing our share.
I
All right. So those are our messages for today. You know, as you can kind of hear, I'm kind of getting over something myself. And so I had to take some time off last week in order to try to let myself heal up. I'm still dealing with voice issues. I feel good. So I've been doing some calisthenics and things at home, but still my voice is fighting itself to get prepared. So sometimes we need to take that break, and it was nice to have some breaks last week. So I hope you all are taking care of yourselves out there. Now we're going to go into Oche Fa and offer Mobile Robo as well as Seiko. What's that?
Do you want me to go down the
No, I did bring some today. I could use a plate though. You know, plate. So let's do Eddie and Braver. We can do
If you don't keep doing that, I'll take care of that.
Is that good?
Okay. Great. Oh, great. What's your name?
What is it actually? What do you?
So before gave us AG for the first time with both Orubo and OB. He's here to support us. We remember that our health is our wealth, and we work towards that. Ifa will continue to support us as followers of Ifa. So may Ifa bless you all. May Ifa support our families and continue to allow us to bring good people in as any other makes sense. Let's see. We have any. See if I have any comments. Camera. Okay. All right. Thank you for those who've been watching, and thank you for supporting us. I can't see any comments from this point, so hopefully I'm not missing anything. I wish you all a wonderful and beautiful week. Aboru aboye.